6.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber.
And I'm Tim Seaman. At least 100 students from South Sioux City High School walked out of class today, protesting what they say are diversity issues inside the school.
A former student who says she organized this event claims student concerns have just not been addressed in the past and remain an issue today. We have the details now in our top story at 6.
They've been saying that for a long time. We haven't seen any change, and that's why I told these kids we need to do something big so they could hear us, because just going and emailing them is not enough. They don't do nothing.
Students we spoke with say their concerns at a boiling point after a former South Sioux City coach was recently charged with sexually assaulting a student.
Additionally, students say that the school is not doing enough to protect them against these types of incidents. Claims of racist behavior by some school staff are also cited by the students. High school principal Ashley Odell attended today's rally and says administrators want to work with students to alleviate their concerns.
We need to gather more specific information if students are feeling like there's some divisiveness here. That's not our goal. We definitely want our students, every one of them, to feel as like they're as important as the next. I think once we get enough communication going, effective communication, then we'll be able to create an action plan and problem solve.
School officials say that students will not face any disciplinary actions because they were simply exercising their right to protest.
Just a few hours ago, a parking lot was filled with law enforcement in Sioux City, all in the chase for two men. That incident began at the Super 8 motel on Stone Avenue just after noon. Police say they located a vehicle that was stolen out of Sioux Falls at gunpoint back on March 25th. But as deputies approached the vehicle today, one man got out of the car and fled that scene. He was apprehended just a couple of blocks away outside of Jim's Lounge. The other suspect involved was not located right away, but was later found at a nearby residence. Tonight, both suspects are in custody.
We're currently working with Sioux Falls Police Department to further investigate that robbery. Officers are also investigating the two subjects that were taken into custody today for some other crimes in the city.
Spalding Park Elementary School nearby was temporarily locked down as a precaution as police searched that area. Charges are expected, but not yet filed in this case.
Protesters were back outside the Des Moines Police Headquarters today after a protester was arrested at the state capitol. The reasons, they say, because those arrests are illegal. Several racial equity groups have been protesting pro-police bills at the Iowa Capitol and police headquarters throughout this week. Yesterday, during the daily protest, an Iowa State Patrol trooper arrested an 18-year-old woman for assaulting a police officer. Now, other protesters say that she didn't do that.
The young woman, I think maybe, I'm not sure, touched his arm just to say, I'm in this conversation. He turned around immediately, cuffed her and arrested her and started dragging her out. And then it was a scuffle. And there were lots of hard feelings because, I mean, we're there protesting the police and they come in and do this kind of rough job on this young woman.
That arrested protester has since been released to her family.
This week marks the days of remembrance for Holocaust victims. For one Siouxland veteran, the horrors of the Holocaust are still just as fresh in his memory as they were almost 80 years ago. You might remember this man, 98-year-old Denzel Mosman of Wakefield, Nebraska. He says his unit came across a German concentration camp toward the end of World War II. He tells us his unit and other elements of the U.S. 3rd Armored and 104th Infantry Divisions then liberated that camp.
We go in this building, beaten eye, and like I said, you could smell death. They would build 2x4s and boards. That's where they slept with no blankets, no nothing.
You'll hear more from Mr. Mosman on his time liberating the camp coming up tonight at 10.
Well, after a week of moisture in the area, folks may be out to think about doing some work on their garden this weekend.
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson for a look at your sunnier forecast.
Tim and Sophie, it's been soggy out there for the past 3 days, so it was nice to see at least a few glimpses of sunshine today. Still mostly cloudy overall. As we review the high temperatures that were set across Siouxland this afternoon, 50s for most, a couple of 60s though as you head further south down I-29, including 61 degrees in Omaha, Nebraska. Here's a loop of our radar now. It shows a couple of showers down toward Neely and Norfolk, just enough to wet the pavement there. Not expecting to see a whole lot of precipitation stack up. So outside of that small chance of showers in Nebraska, it looks like things should be dry as we enter the weekend, and we'll have much more coming up in just a couple of minutes. Tim?
All right, Scott, thanks much. And as Scott remembers, and many folks here in Siouxland, it was just 10 years ago that a massive tornado rolled through Mapleton, Iowa. It was an EF3 storm that ripped through more than 100 buildings and homes. The town of just 1,200 people. And despite leveling nearly 60% of the community, no one was killed, mostly due to a 15-minute warning that gave residents time to take cover. Only 3 minor injuries, in fact, were reported during that disaster. The Mapleton tornado was the most destructive storm out of 20 that were reported back on April 9th, 2011.
Siouxlanders who don't have the space to have their own garden can put their green thumbs to work at a local community garden. St. Luke's Community Garden is right next to the Ronald McDonald House in Sioux City. There are 4-foot by 8-foot raised garden beds, and they're available for you to rent starting May 1st. You can request a bed by filling out a form and returning it to the finance department at Unity Point Health St. Luke's Hospital.
Well, car accidents are something that firefighters are used to responding to. What they're not as familiar with is when that car involves an electric engine. Kneffler Chevrolet hosting an electric vehicle extrication training today for the Sioux City Fire Rescue Technical Team. That program is extended to better prepare local firefighters for emergencies involving those electric cars and hybrids. Officials say that knowing the threats that they face before attacking an electric vehicle fire leads to quicker and safer response.
With the number of calls that we get that occur on the roadway, we need to be prepared to act efficiently and safely. The electrical vehicle market obviously is increasing throughout the country.
More and more electric vehicles. Currently it represents about 2% of the marketplace. That and the environment around electric vehicles is changing quickly, and yeah, I anticipate more in the future for sure.
Along with extrication rescue, the Sioux City Fire Rescue Technical Team is trained in high and low angle rope rescues, trench rescues, as well as dive rescues.
Well, springtime is great for getting outdoors before it's too hot, but it can also mean seeing trash just about everywhere.
Yeah, it's easy to spot. Now find out how an app is helping tidy up our world. That's coming up.
And we're going to be cleaning out the skies here this weekend. Some more sunshine in the mix and seasonal temperatures as well. As a drier pattern looks to take hold, your 9 on 9 forecast straight ahead.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Tim Seaman, Sophie Erber, Chief Meteorologist Scott Larson, and Sports Director Jake Jones. This is KCAU 9 News at 6. This is KCAU 9 weather.
I won't profess to say that I have the greenest of thumbs, but I've got a feeling there's going to be some work done this weekend.
Okay, I heard you do have a green thumb.
Maybe slightly green, Scott. I don't know.
I've seen some of the pictures you posted on Facebook. Don't lie, Tim.
Yeah, you got a green thumb.
Usually looks pretty good.
But to be fair, I think we're all going to get a boost with all the rain we've had, Scott, and it seems like we'll be solidifying some of that in the ground this weekend with some sun on top of it.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I put down some grass seed pretty recently, so I'm hoping that some of that will start to pop up as we look outside here on the Wayne State College camera in northeast Nebraska. It shows that we still have cloudy skies with us, but we do expect the clouds to be erased as we enter the weekend, and we'll enjoy some more sunshine and seasonal temperatures as it looks like those will hop into the 60s. Here's what's going on in Sioux City now. The temperature is at 56. We have the wind from the northwest at 17 miles per hour with relative humidity at 60%, and the dew point now 53 on Tuesday, 56 Wednesday. We'll slowly work our way back near 60 on Thursday and Friday. Friday is also only have a decent chance of some rain returning to the forecast, but again, several days until that looks to come back. 56 52 on Saturday and 55 next Sunday with a mostly sunny sky. Another sign of the times here, some daffodils that are sprouting up in Morningside here in Sioux City. So thanks to our viewer for passing along that sign of spring. And if you have a great picture of your own that you wish to share with Siouxland, go to our website and send us your photos. Tim and Sophie?
Thanks, Scott. And if you're looking for flowers, it's pretty surprising. A lot of places already have their outside gardens set up.
I've noticed that. I'm only growing some indoor basil right now, but I am looking forward to potentially branching out.
All right. Well, litter is unfortunately pretty common this time of the year. The snow's gone and all the trash is left behind.
That's right. But there's an app to encourage you to pick up that trash you find to clean up communities. Next.
KCAU 9 News.
Well, if you've ever walked around your favorite park or even in your own neighborhood, from time to time you can see a lot of trash on the ground.
Especially this time of year, as you mentioned. There's actually an app, though, that helps rid the world of litter one piece at a time. Amber Alexander explains.
Literati CEO Jeff Kirshner says his inspiration for the app started when his two young kids noticed a plastic tub of cat litter lying in a creek as they were walking through the woods, and they immediately knew it didn't belong there.
When they said that, it reminded me of when I was a kid going to camp. The camp director would often say, "Quick, everybody go pick up 5 pieces of litter." And so you'd have a couple hundred of us each picking up 5 pieces. And within a few minutes, we had a spotless camp. And I thought, why not apply that crowdsourced cleanup model to the planet?
Here's how the Literati app works. You can download it for free on any Android or iPhone device. Then go start your treasure hunt.
When you find the first piece of litter, open up the app, snap a picture, and upload it. It's that simple.
That photo holds quite a bit of data. We're able to understand who is picking up what, where, and when.
Privacy is important to the company, so you are able to sign up anonymously and turn off your location. So all the app would have access to is a timestamp and a look at what you picked up. And the what is the most important part.
We're using computer vision models to look at that photograph and extract what is the object, what's it made out of, and what is the brand.
9th grade math teacher Chris Woods knows the impact litter can have on a community, and he says there are so many ways picking up litter can relate to subjects like math, science, art, and even literature. Plus, it teaches responsibility. That's why he gets his students involved in picking up the litter around their school.
Now, we may not live near the ocean, but there's water, there's streams, there's rivers, there's everything that eventually takes all those things where they make a bigger impact in a negative way.
By using the Literati app in his class, his students really see the size of the impact they're making when they combine all of their trash together. But it's also a good way to get some exercise.
Not only is it a great app and gets kids thinking about keeping their community clean and thinking about nature and ecosystem and things like that, but it also is fun. It gets them outside, it gets them moving around, gets them active, and it's another way to encourage family time.
Speaking of getting active, a lot of people getting active today because we had a full day of sports, and Jake Jones is in the house.
Yeah, the Briarcliff men's soccer team less than 24 hours away from their GPAC tournament opener. So tonight we hear from the Chargers on how they view this year's spring training for the tournament coming up in sports.